Hello friends and good evening. It's Anna and I'm here to record a video for a tag that my friend Etta Harrison so sweetly tagged me in on Why Wax. And I'm going to tell you where my journey began. My journey began with all candles. My mom is a candle addict. I do have one Scentsy bar here with me. This is Snow White Kind Heart. And we'll talk about this soon. I should have gotten some other bars, but I don't have them nearby. So we'll just use Snow White for now when we get to that part. But, Etta, I want to thank you for tagging me on this video. And I know the tag was started by someone I believe named Michelle. Etta, I don't remember the name of her channel. If you could, when you see this video, if you'll tag her channel in the comments for everyone to go and watch. Her video, and y'all bear with me, I have some sweet iced tea from my grandma's house here in this cup. And I will be sipping on that through this video because this is going to be a longer video. But my journey began with all candles. Because my mom is a candle addict. She's never understood wax and warmers or any of that kind of stuff. She loved candles. She's always loved candles. She still is mainly candles. At Christmas time now, she does have one wax warmer that she pulls out that has snowmen on it, and we put pine wax in it and sit it over on the dog crate closest to the Christmas tree. Like, that is her, that's the extent of her use of warmers. But she loves wallflowers. We had them for a long time, and then we got away from having them, and then recently she has gone back to us having them. I'm trying to see if you can see. No, you can't. You don't have a good angle. I have wallflowers. I have a wallflower in here. I have a wallflower in the hallway there. You guys have heard me talk about all the wallflowers on my empties. And a wallflower in my bedroom. We've gotten back into wallflowers. I do have a mini warmer for wax in the bathroom. I have a wax warmer in my bedroom, and I have 3 warmers in here. You see 2 of them directly behind me. That Frida Fly warmer with the blue butterfly on it that you can just barely see the blue butterfly is my very first Scentsy warmer, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then I have the pink, cast pink with the spring pack with a butterfly wrap in it. And over here is, excuse me friends, is my breast cancer warmer, and we will talk through all of this. In my bedroom there is a Walmart wax warmer that is a metal warmer that's a lantern, and the lights inside of the lantern are butterflies. And I promise we're going to talk through all of this. But my first wax warmer was actually none of these. My very first wax warmer. Okay, so candles have always just been a comforting thing for me and my family and my house. Anytime we needed a reset, we turned to candles. We lit the candles and let the good scents kind of soothe everything away when the weather was bad, when people were sick. Like, everything we've always kind of fixed with happy fragrances, okay? Candles were everything. Candles are everything. Candles, when we clean the house, every candle in the house gets lit, and it just freshens and resets everything. Oh, it's like, we love candles. But I have cerebral palsy, and I have issues with balance. I walk with forearm crutches. I use a power chair even for long distances and things. Pretty much anything outside of the house, I use a power chair. Not much, like, we go to church on Sundays, I take my crutches. But if I'm going to help with a youth event, I'll take my power chair. If we go to the grocery store, I take my power chair. Around the house, I use the crutches all the time, but my balance isn't great. I find myself, when I am standing trying to do things, leaning on the furniture around, whatever, and so candles in my bedroom have really never been a thing, because I didn't feel like it was safe. Because I was afraid that if I went to fall and I grabbed for the furniture to keep from falling, that I could potentially knock off a burning candle. And I was just extremely uncomfortable with that. So I've never really had candles in my bedroom that I lit. Very occasionally I will have one in there and I will light it. But I'm very cautious that I don't go near the piece of furniture that it is sitting on. But wax warmers felt safe for me, because if they were to spill, yes, it would be a mess, but nothing dangerous, right? And so, back years ago, when I first got into wax, I was probably 14 or 15. My mom was in an organization for her professional. She was in a professional organization for her job at the time called GAPAN, which is Georgia Association of Peri-Anesthesia Nurses. And they had a state conference every year, and I would go with her to this state conference. It's always somewhere within the state, but usually somewhere we needed to stay in a motel. And we would leave my dad and brother at home and make a girls' weekend of it, and we would go to this conference. It was usually arrive on a Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and Sunday morning, and then we would come home and be back for church on Sunday evening. And I loved it. These conferences were amazing. They had tons of vendors there, some in the medical world, some in the professional world. They had fun ones too. There was a couple that sold Just For You jewelry, Snap jewelry, Bob and Mary. I don't remember their last name, and they don't sell it anymore, and I wish they did. I miss them terribly. At every event we go to now, with vendors, I think about Bob and Mary. There would be vendors for all kinds of things. And one of the things that was there was a lady actually worked at the hospital. Her name was Suzanne. And she sold what was a pretty well-known direct sales candle company at the time, Gold Creek Candles. It was about 2 years after this first conference that she quit Gold Creek. And I think it was about 2 years after that Gold Creek basically shut down. I believe they are all the way out of the picture now. But I came to this conference and she was there and she had candles, and we love candles. And so I went to the candle booth. And she was clearancing out a wax warmer. And it was a wax warmer that you put a cup that would be filled with wax down inside of it. And the wax would melt within this cup and emit the fragrance. And when it was no longer emitting fragrance, you take the whole cup and you throw it away, and they sold the refills. Kind of like the Yankee Melt cups are now. But she did say that you could also use other wax melts in it. You just put them directly onto the dish versus into the cup. So I was like, okay. She was clearancing this out for $20. It was like a $75 warmer. For the $20, she gave me the warmer, 3 of the milk cups, and 2 fragrance oils, because I was starting to get into essential oil diffusing as well. That's a whole nother thing. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. And so I brought it home and I fell in love. I used up those milk cups within like 2 or 3 weeks of the conference. because I ran that thing constantly. It had a timer on it, and I would set it for the 12-hour timer every morning when I got up. And when it went off, when I was getting ready to go to bed, guess what I would do? I would set the 12-hour timer again. It would go off usually just a few minutes before I woke up for the day. I would set the 12-hour timer again. You get the idea. The warmer basically never stayed off. So I went through those milk cups super quick. And I went every week when we would go on our errands. I would buy 1 or 2 clamshells of wax at like Walmart or Kohl's or, somewhere like that would have some good, cheap retail wax. But I didn't realize that there were so many better options, and I would just get the cheap retail stuff and I would use it. And I used it all the time. I loved that warmer. And then, probably about 12 years or so, maybe even more than that. Maybe it was more like 14 years after I got that warmer. No, it was like 13. No, it really was like 12 or 13 years after I got that warmer. One day, I went to change the wax out. I still to this day do not know what happened to that warmer. I went to change the wax out, and there was melted wax dripping down onto the electrical cord. My mind starts screaming, "Fire hazard, fire hazard." I yank the cord out of the wall and throw the whole unit away. And then I sit down on my bed and I cry. Because I love that wax warmer, and I didn't know what I was going to do without a wax warmer. And I kept saying, I need a new wax warmer. I need a new wax warmer. But my family did not understand that. And they kept telling me, no, just go back to candles. Just go back to candles. And I was like, no, I need a new wax warmer. And I just didn't shut up about it. But they kept telling me no. So I had a friend who had invited me to a Scentsy party, and I don't even, I think that might be the lady that now is my keep lady. Her name is Jennifer Ann. Her consultant her name was Bree. I don't even know if Bree is still doing Scentsy. There's kind of a whole long story there. But Jennifer had invited me to a Scentsy party. And now I need to back up and I need to tell you some pretty personal things in order for this to make sense. And I think this is what Etta knew I would get to. And I think this is why she tagged me. And so I want to thank you, Etta, again, for tagging me on this video. Because you're giving me an opportunity to share something that you know is so precious to me. I have a precious friend, and her name is Dusty. And in August of 2019, she made her journey to heaven. But she lived and fought bravely for 2.5 years with breast cancer. Actually triple negative breast cancer, which happens to be one of the most aggressive and rare types. And it went metastatic on her, and that's what actually ended up taking her, was the 3rd occurrence. When it went metastatic, she had fought, and she was so weak, and her body just couldn't fight anymore. But she and I were she called us heart sisters. We were closer than a lot of actual family is. And it's a long story because we didn't start out that close, because actually for about 6 months I thought I was the reason that she had cancer, and that's again a whole nother story. But so for about 6 months I didn't talk to her unless somebody was there with me. But then I went to her house one day and I did something with her for a company that I sold for at the time called Jamberry Nails. I did basically a little mini private spa day for her with my nail products and spent 3 hours at her house, and after that we were inseparable. And her symbol of her journey from day one was butterflies. Now, I've always loved butterflies, but it took on a whole new level when they became her symbol. And she was so precious to me. And Etta knows this, and one of the things in her videos, she has a green ceramic butterfly that sits behind her in every single one of her videos. The very first video of hers I ever saw, and I promise I will get back. There's so many things I want to tell in this story. The very first video I ever saw of Etta's, it was a night when I was just really down. I was really grieving with Dusty. I was really missing her. She had not been gone very long at all, and I had just, it was one of those days I had cried off and on all day, and I just was like, I don't know what to do. And because I am into wax, a lot of Scentsy people are in my YouTube feed. And I was aimlessly scrolling YouTube because I didn't know what to do, and I was so upset, and I was just give me a good distraction. Lord, please, just give me a good distraction. And I happened to see one of Etta's videos, and I saw the butterfly in the thumbnail. And I swore it was Dusty telling me to watch this video. And I did, and Etta and I have been friends ever since. And so thank you, Etta. Again, I don't know how many times I can say thank you, Etta, in this video. But thank you, Etta. But I kept telling my family, I need a new wax warmer, I need a new wax warmer. They were just, I thought, ignoring me. And that'll make sense in a minute, but I thought they were ignoring me saying, hey, I need a new wax warmer. And I was like, okay, fine. So my friend Jennifer had invited me to the Scentsy party, and I know, I come to a lot of parties and don't buy anything. I just help participate in, keeping the group interactive and whatever, if it's not particularly something I'm into. But I was saying I need a new wax warmer. And I didn't really know anything about Scentsy at the time, but I agreed to come to this party, and the first thing I saw was wax warmers. And I went, oh my gosh, okay. And my church was doing Secret Sister that year. It was our second year of doing Secret Sister. And we did it for 3 years, and then we're taking this year off. And then I hope we'll go back to it, because I love doing Secret Sister. But we were doing Secret Sister that year. And my Secret Sister, I knew she loved butterflies. And she's like me. She's always loved them, even before Dusty. But it was a whole new level once we knew her, right? And so I didn't know enough about Scentsy to know that their logo was a butterfly. I don't know these things. I'm sad, because as much as I love the Snow White bar, there's no butterfly on the Snow White bar anywhere, and I wish there was. Scentsy could still put their butterfly on it. They've got their Scentsy star logo on the thing where you can hang your bar. But they don't have a butterfly anywhere, and I wish they did. But it's probably part of the licensing agreement that they can't put their logo in with Disney's logo stuff. And that's fine. It is what it is. Sorry, I keep sniffing this wax because I'm just in love with it. We'll talk about this in a minute. But I didn't even know their logo was a butterfly. But I saw warmers. And I thought, oh, that'd be a good gift. My Secret Sister's birthday was coming up. I was going to get her a gift for her birthday, right? And I thought, oh, what a perfect gift. So I gave her So I decided to get on this Scentsy party, and we had moved, and I had my bedroom, and then this room, which I call my library, now to basically be in charge of myself. So I thought, well, they're not listening to me, they're not getting me a new warmer, I'll just get myself two. And we had moved into this house in March of 2019, and this was like, just late November, early December of 2019. I was invited to this party for the first time. And so it took us a good year to get solidly moved in, okay? And I wasn't ready to put anything up in the library at that point, but I knew I would be. So I said, well, I need 2 warmers, and I'll get my secret sister one. So I did one of those things where you order, they call it the Perfect Scentsy, with the $45 warmers. So I got 2 $45 warmers and 6 wax bars, and it was like right at $100. And I packaged one up with 3 wax bars to give to my secret sister, and I was going to put one in my bedroom. But long story short, I didn't jump to place an order. I placed an order like 2 days before Christmas. Her birthday's February, so I was like, okay, I'm perfect to be able to give her, I'll get it plenty of time. But I placed this order like 2 days before Christmas. I was like, great, I'll get my couple of warmers. I'll put one in the bedroom. I'll have one for the library when I get it to a point where I can put one in there. I'll give one to my secret sister, and I'll keep some wax, and I'll give her some wax. So I had I had a plan, okay? Well then, Christmas Day 2019, one of my gifts ends up being that Walmart wax warmer that I talked about that's in my bedroom. That is a metal one. That's a lantern that has butterflies in it. I opened it up and I cried like a baby because it was like a Christmas present from Dusty. And I thought, now I understand why they kept telling me no when I kept saying I needed a new warmer. Crap, now what am I going to do? Because I've ordered one for the bedroom, and I've ordered one for the library, and I've ordered one for my secret sister. Her name was Amber. And I was like, what am I going to do? I don't need all 3 now. I just need 2. Well, I ended up just putting it under my bed, and I ended up selling the extra one when I became a consultant. No big deal. But I got that Scentsy warmer in. I got the first ones I ordered were the Free to Fly. I ordered 3 of the Free to Fly warmers. And I got that warmer. And got it in, and I actually got it in. So Dusty passed in August of 2019, so that Christmas when I was crying like a baby because it was a Christmas present from Dusty, like that was so, which it wasn't, it was actually from my parents, but I swore the butterflies, it was like, it's from Dusty. So I know since he got backed up with the holidays and all the things, and I had some issues with shipping and getting, things because everything was so backed up from the holidays. I actually did not get those 3 warmers until Valentine's Day 2020. which is crazy because if you think about it, Valentine's Day 2020, we were what, 6 weeks from the virus that shall not be named shutting the world down. Okay? And here I was getting things to make my home and my rooms in the house more appealing. So you'll never convince me that wasn't God and His perfect provision for knowing that we were going to be stuck in our homes for so long. Which I don't mind. I like to do things with my church. We like Dollywood because, hello, Dolly symbol is a butterfly too, so I love Dollywood. But I only want to go there about once a month max. I love doing things with my church. I love being involved in all of the Bible camps during the summer or watching revivals every night during this. Oh gosh, I love that kind of thing. But I'm such a homebody. I like to be with some of my preacher friends in person. But I'm also just as content, 9 times out of 10, to watch a live stream or watch a live stream replay. But I do love to be with people. But I also am very much a person who doesn't like to get dressed up to go anywhere. So, works for me if I can just be on YouTube doing videos, be on Facebook doing some lives, and be in my comfy clothes all the time. Y'all don't even see half of what I wear because you only basically see my shirt. So what does it matter? I'm actually doing this video in my pajamas. It's that kind of thing. But that's me, and that's what I like. But I got the warmer. I got my warmers on Valentine's Day 2020. As my parents were getting ready to go out on their Valentine's date, they were leaving my brother and I at home to find our own Valentine's dinner, which was fine. But I was actually going to have to wait about 2 hours for him to get off work. Fine, no big deal. Mom gets ready, she leaves, she goes out the door. I take a couple of wax samples that I had been given from the Scentsy consultant, and I pick one of them up and I put it in that warmer because she had put the little sticker on them, turn me upside down in your warmer. I'll melt out, It's cute. So I picked up one of the samples and I tossed it into the warmer. It was grapefruit and grenadine. I'll never forget what my first Scentsy scent was, and I'm so sad that it's not available anymore. Praying it comes back for the Bring Back My Bar one day, just for the nostalgia of having my very first ever Scentsy scent that I smelled in my warmer. But on the testers, you don't have the butterfly logo. And so I later got back into the box and I opened up the wax and I saw the logo was a butterfly, and that was about it. I was sold. I had gotten Scentsy wax because at the time I thought you could only put Scentsy wax and Scentsy warmers if you wanted to keep the warranty. I now understand that that's only having to do with the light bulbs, but at the time I didn't know that. So I melted those testers that I was given, and then I had 3 bars from doing that bundle that I melted through and I used. But when I picked up the first bar and I saw the logo was a butterfly, I knew I was going to be with Scentsy for a long time. I didn't really expect at that moment that I would join in February of 22 like I did. But I knew I was going to be I anticipated being a Scentsy customer for life. And that consultant quit the business, or I'm not sure 100% that she quit, but she definitely quit promoting it. To the point where, like, I booked a party from my friend's party because she was giving her an extra prize if she had, for every booking that she had. So I was like, well, I'll help her out that way too. I booked a party from my friend's party, and I had not a giant party, but I had a $200 party. I had a rewards qualified party. And I told her what I wanted for my rewards. And she never got back to me to redeem those rewards. So, through my other business, that was my only business at the time, my Jamberry nail business, I found another consultant for Scentsy. Because I was getting ready to put on a project in Dusty's memory with the Jamberry nails, with the cancer center, with a cancer group. And so I went on one of the Jamberry pages and I explained to them what I was doing, and I reached out and I said, if anybody has any wraps that you're done with the design, you don't want to wear these, I'll take them and I'll use them for this project. Well, she was so sweet. Her name was Tara Cleveland. To my knowledge, she's still a consultant, and I love you, Tara. She reached out to me and she said, I've got 2 photo albums full of wraps that I would love to send you. I'm actually a breast cancer survivor myself. Before I was a patient, I was a chemo nurse. I worked in the chemo clinic. She told me all kinds of stuff, and she listened to me cry about Dusty. Oh God, she was amazing. She sent me 2 photo albums of wraps, and I did not know at the time that she sold Scentsy. She sent me 2 photo albums of wraps. She and I friend requested each other on Facebook, and I just start following her posts. And I see her post something when Scentsy had some new collection drop, and I don't even remember what it was. And I said, oh, wait a minute, you sell Scentsy? And she goes, honey, I do everything. She said, I did Jamberry, but she said I've gotten to a point where I can't wear those anymore because of having reactions. She never had reactions before, but the way her body reacted to her history with chemo, then all of a sudden she started having a reaction with the adhesive in the Jamberry wraps, and she couldn't wear them anymore. So she got rid of them. She couldn't sell them. She felt like she couldn't sell something she couldn't use, and I appreciate that. She had done Origami Owl for a while, and she had just found that was just too much. Just keeping up with it was just too much, because they have a lot of different requirements than, So she actually sent me a really sweet Origami Owl package, and she was trying to clean some stuff out too, and I tried to pay her for it, and she wouldn't let me. She was like, no, these are memorial pieces for you, for Dusty. Like, it was so sweet. She and I were super close, because she got it. She understood. And I told her what had happened with that party and how I had a qualifying party, but the consultant never got back with me to redeem rewards. Do you know what that girl did? She called support and told them what had happened. And I'm sure she got breed mark for the flag or something, I'm sure there was something they got onto her. But Tara talked to Scentsy support team, and she had them create a party for me under her and go ahead and put $200 worth of sales in it, because I had screenshots that I had sent Tara of proof of where my party had gotten to this level before it had ended, and that I had tried to reach the consultant and she had never responded. So Tara convinced them to create a party for me under her and put the $200 worth of sales in it. they just created orders and they never did ship anything. But they set it up so they helped her fake the system out. And then she could take, and she helped me redeem the rewards that I should have gotten months prior with the other consultant. And that's how I got my mini warmer that's in the bathroom. I got that mini warmer for free. This is back when the mini warmers were $20. I got that mini warmer for free. And I got another 6-pack of wax at half price. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I love this. This is great. I made plenty of large orders with Tara. I gifted so much Scentsy that next year. Like, I gifted Scentsy for everything. All of my family got Scentsy for Christmas. Like, Christmas 2020 was the Christmas of Scentsy. Like, I was all over it. Everybody got Scentsy at the family Christmas thing. And I made plenty of orders with Tara. I probably was one of her biggest customers. Loved the Scentsy, loved my Free to Fly, like, cried over it all the time. I sat in here on Easter weekend of 2021, I think it was. These are it would have been 21. And we were still in the middle of the virus that shall not be named. And my church had sent out a flock note, which is what we use to keep the whole church informed of things. It's kind of like an old calling post or phone tree used to be, but it's through text. That said, we will have our first parking lot service on Easter Sunday. Please join us. Wear your Easter dress, and people can see you through your windows. We will not be getting out and socializing, but we'll do a parking lot service. What a great day to come back together for Easter, right? Big. We were all excited. I got up. I got ready on that Easter Sunday morning, and I was so excited. But the night before, after that flock note went out, I sat in here in the library and I cried for 3 hours. And I talked to Dusty's sister, Kim. And I was like, I don't understand. What's wrong with me? Why can I not be happy that we're going to get to have service together again? Because we've been doing live stream services where only my pastor and his family and the guy in charge of the sound booth were coming into the church. And they were doing live stream services and we were watching it on our couches at home. And I was missing my church family so bad. And so I said to Kim, I said, why can I not be excited? Why am I not happy? And she said, well, it's because you're missing Sissy. She said, Easter was one of her favorite days ever. And you'll never forget that, and your heart knows that. Even if right this minute maybe you didn't remember it. She said, your heart knows it. And you miss her. And it's awful, and it's so sad, and I'm so sorry. And she and I cried together for 3 hours and watched a living room live stream concert of some of her friends in the Southern gospel music industry called the Lore Family. Check them out on YouTube if you have not. Quick plug for the Lore Family. We watched them and we cried, and I said, okay, I can do this. And I turned on my Free to Fly warmer and stared at that butterfly the whole time. And cried and cried and cried. And the next catalog came out, and the breast cancer warmer was the charitable cause warmer. And I called Tara and I said, oh my word, I need that warmer. And she said, yeah, I do. And she didn't realize that you couldn't use rewards for charitable cause warmers at the time. So she said, let's just schedule you another party. So we did. And I had amazing friends who helped me get to a $500 party. So I was going to get amazing rewards. I had planned to take my $50 in free credit and get that breast cancer warmer. And then I was going to get all kinds of other stuff half price. And Tara had promised me a bunch of other freebies, and she was amazing at that particular party. And then she finds out that you can't do the charitable cause warmer with rewards, but she was so precious because she knew how much that meant to me. She ordered the rewards to ship to her. She ordered $50 worth of free product. And then she ordered the breast cancer warmer, the Strength, Hope, and Love warmer. And she paid for it. And then she got my rewards, and she got all my half prices and all the other things that she had promised me that she put in that rewards order. Which was she was just spoiling me a little bit. And then she put that Strength, Hope, and Love in there. She packaged it up and she sent me all the rewards. She was so amazing, and I felt so bad because she had worked so hard to get it for me, and I felt bad. I was like, you shouldn't have went through all that. And she goes, no, honey, I knew how important it was for you, and trust me, I understand. I got mine as soon as they announced it. And obviously she did, and she kept it out all October, and we talked about our ribbons all the time. All the time. And then, in February of 21, they did the cast pink for the warmer of the month. And when I saw the butterfly wrap, I had to have it. So, reach out to Tara. And that's why the two warmers that you see up there are my original, my Free to Fly, and the cast pink. And over here is my breast cancer warmer. In the bedroom is my lantern warmer, and I've got the rose gold glitter mini in the bathroom. Now, you think, okay, she's been on for almost 45 minutes. She's got to be almost done. I am going to try to speed it up, but no, I'm not almost done. So, I started getting waxes. I got different collections with my rewards. I played with scents. I'm doing all kinds of things. And then we had the spring catalog that came out, the first spring catalog, in which Rainbows and Butterflies, which I found out later was the former scent of the month, was in the catalog. Well, a bar named Rainbows and Butterflies had my attention because butterflies. And I snatched it up. I ordered I think I ordered a whole 6-pack of it right off the bat. I was in love with it, and just based on the name alone. And it showed up at my house, and I opened the first bar. Now, this is Snow White, and we'll get to this in a minute. But I opened the first bar, and I did the old, and I immediately started crying. Because that bar smelled exactly like my Dusty's house had smelled the day I went to see her. And I cried like a baby. And I said, I've got to have this bar forever. And I didn't even know what Scentsy Club was or that it was even a thing. And I called Tara and I said, what do I do? I can't be without this bar. And she said, there's this thing called Scentsy Club. So I started my club specifically for Rainbows and Butterflies. Literally, that was the only bar in my club. And I did it every 3 months, and it came, oh my gosh. Now my club is crazy. But that's how my club started, was Rainbows and Butterflies. And I cried over it. And then, Scentsy released this bar that was called Cutie Pie Cupcake. That one's in my club too. And that to me smelled just like my Nana's lemonade cake, and we lost her in June of 2020. And so now that was a sentimental bar. And then like 6 weeks later, they released the Stitch collection with Stitch 626 and Angel 624. The buddies, the scent packs, and the bars. Well, when I saw that there was a bar called Angel, I lost it. Because my other precious friend, Rita Henry, I call her my angel. So I knew I had to have that bar. Like, I had to have that bar. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that bar. So guess what else went in my club? Angel. Anyway, so you see how quickly the sentimental attachment to the bars kept me with Scentsy. Whereas I had been a retail wax. Like, that's all I ever did was retail wax. After Suzanne was no longer doing the Gold Canyon melts. And I did some jewelry and candles melts because I would pick them up at that conference. But then when we were no longer going to that conference, when my mom changed jobs and she changed professional organizations, I wasn't seeing those vendors, so I was retail wax all the way. But now Scentsy had me hooked because they have all of these scents that are so sentimental and so special to me. And we talk about scent memory, and scent memory is a real thing. I put that Cutie Pie Cupcake in. Nana is here at my house baking a lemonade cake in my kitchen when I'm smelling that Cutie Pie Cupcake. I mean, that's how vivid it is. When I put in Rainbows and Butterflies, which I rarely warm on its own now, there's a story, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But when I put in Rainbows and Butterflies, I am immediately at Dusty's house with her that day, having such a special time. And it's so amazing to me. And, then, okay, so the other bar, I warm a trio. Often when I warm Rainbows and Butterflies, I often warm a trio. I often warm Rainbows and Butterflies, Angel, and then the Ursula Poor Unfortunate Souls bar together. Because my Dusty and my Rita, they were actually both for about, almost a year. They battled breast cancer together. And I was super close. I am still super close with Rita. I was super close to both of them. And so, it just dawned on me one day to try those two bars together, and I loved them. But then, the Ursula bar got added into the mix because of my sweet friend, Melissa Johnson-Haight, here on YouTube. The first video I ever saw of hers was 3 hours and something long, and I thought, oh my word, like, I'm one of those people that loves long videos. The longer the better. I was like, I don't even know who she is, but I saw Scentsy boxes, and it was 3 hours and something long, and I thought, yes. And I clicked on her channel, and I watched her video, and that very first video that I watched, she was talking about her friend Ursula. And I swear, her and Ursula and their relationship is so much me and Dusty made over that I could not get enough. After that video went off, I messaged her all night long. And we talked back and forth, and we understand each other so well. And while I hate that it is a club of that kind of grief that makes us understand each other so well, I'm so grateful that we understand each other so well, because I can tell her anything, any day, and she never judges me. She completely understands. And it doesn't matter that it was almost 4 years ago now, because August will be 4 years, which is insane. And that there are days that even though it's been 3.5 years, it still feels like it's only been 3.5 hours since I found out, since she was gone. And I'm a basket case and sobbing. Missy always understands that, and I am so grateful for that connection and that friendship, even though it is in a very negative club that we are in. So I put the Ursula bar in there too, because we talk all the time about how good of friends our girls would have been. And then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just going to throw this bar in here. And by that point I had these 3 warmers in the library, so I did a cube. I did 1 cent per warmer, but the trio melded so well in here. That's about the only way I warm them now, except for on very rare occasions when I'll warm them separate for different things. Or I'll warm them in different combos for different things, like the Angel Bar I always warm in a special combo that I do for her mama's anniversary of her birthday and anniversary of her passing, which is probably sounds weird to be telling you about all these special memorial combos and trios and things that I do, but that's one of the big reasons that I've stayed in wax, is because of the connections that it gives me and the ways that I'm able to remember those things and treasure those things. I have special little memorials that I can give Dusty, and I can help Missy give Ursula, and I can have special connections, special things for my Rita to remember her mama with. And even if it's a matter of all it is she knows that wax is in the warmer. That's important to us. That's special. It's important to me because it's special to her. Because I never knew her mama. And so it really shocked her the first time that I told her that I wanted to help her memorialize Evelyn. And I did special nails that year. And I always do special nails too, but that first year, all I had was the special nails. And I did the special nails, and I took them. I wouldn't let her see when I was doing them, and I walked in, and I showed her, and she busted out crying, and she said, I can't believe you wanted to do that. That's so special. You never knew her, and yet you want to help me with this. It was so sweet. And I'm looking at my watch. Because I have been on here for almost an hour. But why wax? Well, it started out really as a safety thing for me. And it's just home fragrance has always been a part of my life. But wax and warmers seemed like a safer option for me personally. But it's evolved into so much more. It's evolved into the memories and the community and all the things that are so special about the wax community. And so with that, I'm going to tag my 3 friends to do this tag alongside me. And then I'm going to end this because you've listened to me ramble for almost an hour, and I thank you for that. But I am also very grateful for the opportunity to share my wax journey, how and why I got started, and why I continue with the wax, because it's so special. It's such a simple thing to be able to mark so many special moments and so many special people in my life in such an easy and simple way. And I thank God for this community and this opportunity that a simple wax warmer I would have never expected to bring into my life, but it has. And so with that, I'm going to say I would love to hear Beth Beth J Loves Wax, or I think she's just Beth J on YouTube. Right, I think I'm confusing your Instagram and your YouTube, sweet friend. Beth, I would love to hear your story of how you got into wax. So if you would please do this tag with me. And then Laura Whitfield, I know I've heard some of your story, but if you feel like it's a video that you can handle, I would love for you to do this tag with me. And by the way, guys, Laura is my Scentsy sponsor. That's another thing, the community that Scentsy as a company has brought me is mind-blowing. And then, Ashley P., I would love to hear your story of how you got started with wax. If you friends and why wax, if you feel comfortable doing this video and sharing this tag, I would so love to hear your stories, and I would so appreciate it. Since this is almost an hour long, I'm going to end it here. I am going to wait probably until tomorrow evening to upload this, so you probably will see this sometime Monday. But again, thank you, Etta, for the opportunity to share. And I hope that all of you ladies that I have tagged will continue it on. I love you, ladies. And remember, have a blessed day on purpose.